Hello and welcome back to Knack Kitchen, where this week we are making a zebra cake. Now, for those of you who may not know, a zebra cake is just a marble cake but with a bit of a makeover. It's basically a marble cake 2.0, if you must, and it's just as easy, just as delicious, and absolutely amazing. And without waiting any longer, let's just see how we make it. So the first thing that we're going to do is deal with our dry ingredients. So to a bowl of flour, I'm adding my baking soda and some baking powder. Along with that, I also like to add a little bit of corn flour. Now if you don't have corn flour, then you can substitute that with just a little more flour as well. And after combining that, we're going to set this aside and move over to our wet ingredients. And the first thing that we're going to do is cream some butter and sugar together, and we will do this for a good 5 minutes because we want the butter and sugar to be well combined. And after that, we're going to move over and start adding our eggs one at a time. So after each addition, we're going to beat this for about 30 to 40 seconds until we can't see any more traces of raw egg. And we're going to do this for the other 3 eggs as well. So once we've added our final egg and it has been well incorporated, we're going to go ahead and add our vanilla extract, and I am using a whole teaspoon and a half because that's where the flavor is going to come from. And after mixing that in, we'll add our oil. So for this cake, I'm using both butter and oil because I want the buttery flavor as well as the moistness that you get from the oil. And now we're just going to add our dry ingredients along with some milk, and I'm only adding half the dry ingredients and half the milk first, and then I'm going to add the rest of it in the next addition. So now we're just going to blend this all together, and eventually for the sides I will use my spatula, and as you can see, this is the consistency that we want for our vanilla batter. So now for the chocolate batter, I have some cocoa powder and a little bit of sugar, and now I'm adding some hot milk which is going to help bloom the cocoa powder. And now we're just going to mix this until all of the cocoa powder is well dissolved, and then we'll add half of our vanilla batter to this. So for that, I have my trusty weighing scale. It was very cheap, and if you are a seasoned baker, I would definitely recommend that you invest in one. It is going to be a lifesaver. And you'll make sure that your ingredients are well and truly measured precisely. So now we're just going to mix this together, and you can do this vigorously. You don't need to fold it in, but eventually it will be best if you try and just fold the batter in and scrape all the way to the bottom to ensure that you've mixed it evenly. So now for the assembly, which might seem like the most interesting part of this recipe, but honestly it's not very difficult. It's just a little time consuming. You have to add only spoonfuls of the batter to the center of the pan and keep layering it one on top of the other. Now occasionally if you start fraying away from the center, you can jiggle the pan and adjust. The recipe is very forgiving. Your pattern is still going to be absolutely stunning by the end of it. Now remember me talking about a weighing scale? I did not make a very good case because I ran out of the vanilla batter for some reason. But that was okay. I did end up making a couple of cupcakes from the chocolate one, and they were delicious all on their own. And if you happen to have any excess batter, you can do the same. Now I'm just making an optional pattern on the top. You may choose to do so, or you can live without it as well. And now we're just going to bake this for about 50 to 55 minutes. And don't make the mistake that I did. I forgot to cover the cake with some foil because, well, I just don't know. But if your cake is browning a little too much, you can cover it with foil so as to have an even color on the top. So after about 10 minutes, you're going to loosen the cake from the sides, and our cake is actually ready to be eaten. Now you can serve this cake the day after. It will taste absolutely delicious served cold. But at this point, I had no patience and I had no intention of torturing myself any further, so I decided to slice into it right away. And for the grand reveal, Here we have the beautiful layers of this exquisite zebra cake. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and if you did, then please do give a like, share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.